And it's Doc, aka Gamer Seuss, once again in the Gamer Seuss Twitch channel, and we're back with some more Wild Terra information. I've been on a bit of a hiatus because of my health and some other health involving my co-host for our talk show, but uh, today I've got a brief overview of some changes that have been happening in Wild Terra 2 New Lands, and of course I like to do the guides for Wild Terra 2. So we're going to jump on in with that. For those who don't know, there's been a couple of patches recently. The most recent big patch was on the 14th of September of this year. So 9/14/23 when we got some integrated, upgraded quests and some new journal entry information focusing on hunting and taming. So I wanted to go over that. Plus, I was going to go ahead and go over a little bit in the journal about fishing while we're at it. So we're going to pop right on over to Wild Terror 2. Now, I'm not going to be able to walk along with all of this because some of the quests I've already done and they're not repeatable, or I don't have the quest token to grab the quest right now. So I'm just going to do just a brief overview for some of the changes. Mainly, we're going to focus on the journal this time around. Um, Here's our Wild Terror 2 game. I'm logged in with my main account, and if you click up here, uh, is your journal. You can click that, and that brings up the your naturalist journal, which was added with the fishing expansion. But now they've got two more headings. They've got the hunting heading and the taming heading. So uh, we're going to talk a little bit about this. Now, first off, I know the fishing was already there, but just to go over it, there are 20 fish in the game that you can catch, and each fish has three trophies or achievement bonuses that you can pick up in the game. Uh, there's generally a catch 100, a catch 300, and a catch a certain weight or higher of each specific fish. And if you go in and if you do all the achievements, they have a cumulative bonus. The two catch requirements have a cumulative 0.5% bonus to possibly getting a double catch chance, similar to the fishery skill that uses up the moonshine. If you're not familiar with that, if you go into um, your collecting skill, go down to fishery. If you have at least fishery of 20, or no, fishery of 10, then you get this skill called fishery art. But it does require that you have a moonshine in your inventory because you drink the moonshine. So you do pick up alcohol uh, level. So it's a good idea to have an emetic potion to get rid of the alcohol, especially if you've done this twice or more, because then you start getting severely drunk in the game and you get massive debuffs. But once you take the emetic potion, it gets rid of the debuffs, but not the buffs. Um, and this basically gives you a 50% chance of doubling each catch. And then with the journal, you have another 0.5% for each fish at the 100 catch mark, and then again another 0.5% at the 300 catch mark. With 20 fish, that means you can get another 20% chance. So with the fishery art, you can actually go from 50% all the way up to a 70% chance to catch double fish when you do it. And that's important for especially some of the exotic fish like the anglerfish, which you only generally get to catch one at a time. Or like when you're in the Booming Echo Cave and you're trying to catch the clams, you're on a very limited time frame there, and so you want the chance to catch two clams instead of just one. because you only get a chance. Once you catch the one, the timer automatically ends anyway there. You don't get a chance to keep fishing. So that's a good one. Now, the third bonus, it differs from fish to fish, and it's basically to catch the biggest fish in that uh, type for you. And you have to, each one has a different fish weight. And you see when you catch each fish, it tells you that there was, a certain weight of fish was caught. And if you hit the weight trophy for that fish, you get a cumulative 1% chance to save your bait during fishing. Each time you fish, you potentially lose your bait, but this gives you a chance to possibly save it. When it comes to some of the more expensive bait, like the steel fishing spoons, you really want this because you don't want to use up the fishing spoons. So if you get every fish out here, you get the trophy for it. You'll have a 20% chance to conserve your bait, which is huge. That's 1 in 5 chance of not using up bait, which means you can fish that much longer before having to go get more bait. It means that you're not using up the more expensive baits like the spoons. So those are the important achievements. And additional information in the journal they give you is what bait is used for each fish. We used to have to keep that information ourselves, but now we know what baits are able to catch the fish, and it also keeps track of how many you've caught and and the record catch weight for the fish since the patch. It doesn't have any of the information before the patch, but it's got that for each fish in the system. As you can see, there's some that I've gotten all 3 trophies on, and then there's some that I've only got some of the trophies on, and some I've never caught at all, like the anglerfish and the salmon. But those are in your fishing journal. Next up is we're going to talk about the hunting journal. Now, hunting's a new thing. They haven't really talked about it before because there's no hunting skill necessarily. But in the hunting journal, they basically have several of the creatures in the game that you're required to kill and butcher. And it tells you what they eat. It tells you what you get when you skin them. So like for instance, for the fox, you get a small hide and you get carnivore meat. I'm sorry, we were still on the fishing thing. That's not something that gives you, but it tells you what you get when you skin them. And then there are some achievements here as well under the hunting. You have the general hunting skill. You have to kill generally like 1,000 of the individual. Some of the more rare ones you don't have to kill as many, but you got to kill like 1,000 foxes, and then it's cumulative 1% chance to do extra damage on animals. And all the creatures in the hunting, I think, count as animals for the sake of that bonus. So even things like Creaky and the Mountain Man, even though they're not technically animals, I do believe you get the bonus with them, though nobody's actually directly tested that yet. But all of these are considered animals, and not every animal in the game has a hunting listing. Like you would expect foxes. I mean, you'd expect wolves to be in here, but they're not. You would expect the hare to be in here, but it's not. So you're not going to get any bonuses for catching and skinning hares. But you do the fox is the easy first one. You got the great silver fox, you got the goat, You got boars, and then it goes up to the exotics like Creaky, the treant, and the man on the mountain, and the serpent in the swamp. And it said you get the 1% cumulative chance of doing more damage to animals for doing it. And then the second bonus that you can get is it'll increase like some of what they drop when you skin them. Like for the boars, you'll get a higher chance of getting maggots when you kill them, or say the swamp serpent will give you a 20% increase in skinning overall. So they do give some different bonuses. See, like the bosses actually have extra damage to bosses, not extra damage to animals, because the dragon snake says plus 1% extra damage to bosses, and the bosses in the game are the mountain man, the int, the snake, the bloody bear, the different inn bosses in the hideouts and the thickets in Plague Island. Those are all boss level monsters. I do believe the giant crab that you get when you fish in dangerous waters is also a boss. It's either a boss or an elite, but I believe it's a boss. So those would count as bosses. So these are the things that you get for hunting. Finally, you have the taming. Now, eventually they're going to have listings for a lot of the different skills here, but these are the first that they've added into the game. The developers have actually been rather busy lately, putting some more updates in. They had a bit of a hiatus. One of their coders was sick. They told us a few months back, but I guess he's back to working because they've had a few updates recently, and this is the culmination of that. Now, in the taming tab, you see you basically every animal that you can tame in the game has a listing, and for instance, seagulls, easiest thing to tame in the game. You can go up and catch seagulls even without necessarily having any kind of net or skill or whatever. They just run away from you. So, but of course, once you get a seagull up to level 15, they don't run away from you no more, and because that's the max level for the seagull. It tells you what they eat in order to tame them. In this case, it's a worm. It does not tell you what their other food is, because most of the animals have a second food now, because they've added a thing where the pets, while they're summoned, if they're not at max level, they will steal treats as you're gathering them in the game. So each creature has like 2 treats that they like. Usually it's their initial taming food, in this case a worm, and then it's another food. I will tell you, for just a quick warning, for crows, I'll give you the crows warning because we have confirmed it. Crows eat shrimp. So while you're fishing for shrimp, if you have a crow out, he will eat your shrimp. And I'll give you that warning because one of our members of our guild didn't know that, and they noticed that they was eating part of the shrimp, which was making it harder to do the quest. But each time they eat one of these treats, they get some bonus experience based on the treats. So we'll let you go around and find out what the different treats are and what the experience bonuses are. But that's something that they'll go around and do now, as long as they're not at max level. Once they're at max level, they no longer steal treats. Originally they did, but then they fixed that in a more recent mini patch. Now there are generally 3 bonuses for each of the taming animal listings. I think some of the higher level ones may not have all 3. Yeah, like the little wolf, because you only ever get one little wolf. So it's just got the fast taming bonus. But in general, if you get a bonus for catching 100 of the individual type, and that's a cumulative 1% chance to save snares when you're hunting. Now, not all of these creatures require snares. Like the seagull doesn't require a snare, the crow doesn't require a snare, goats and hares don't require snares, and you can catch foxes without snares. Anything after that generally requires a snare, but you can get a cumulative chance of not using up the snare, which once you get into the higher end snares, like the hardened leather and steel snares, get kind of expensive to make. And so it's nice to be able to conserve those snares when you're out there. Then the other thing we've got is if you tame 100 of the individual creatures, there's a cumulative 0.1% chance to fully feed the pet. What that is when you're taming the pets, you have to get rid of their fear level, and whatever their fear level is, you've got to feed them, and then you have a chance of lowering their fear level anywhere from like 2 to 8 points. And some of the fear levels are up over 300. But there's a cumulative chance here. The more of these that you get fully tamed to 100, there's the more chance that you have to instant tame the pets after you catch them with just a single feeding. And it's only a 0.1% chance. Now, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 28, 29, 30, 31. Okay, there are quite a few animals. There are close to 40 animals here, but some of them, of course, don't have all the bonuses. So figure about 30 of them. So that means you can get about a 3% chance to instant tame. That's not a lot, but that means 3 out of 100 you tame just once, and that's really crucial when you get up to some of the creatures like the black bear or the barghest, and you're taming, because they have, like you said, 300 fear, and you're only reducing their fear on a single feeding by at most 8 points. So in a 300 feed, that's a lot. That's what 13 times. That's like almost 40 feeds if you get the perfect 8 on each one, which is not going to happen. You'd have to do 40 feeds at a perfect just to tame the barghest. But with this, you got a 3% chance. So uh, 3 out of 100 average, and this is RNG, could be instant tamed with one feeding, and so that's huge. Um, Now you have to go through and catch and tame a lot to do this, so the work may not be worth it to some of the tamers that have already gone through and done a whole lot of the previous tames. They're higher up in the levels already, because unfortunately it doesn't backtrack. There is at least one quest out there that helps backtrack at least one of these things, but we don't have the full details on that quest yet, so I can't really give it. And then finally, we have the fast training bonus, which gives a cumulative 5% pet XP gain, which means all your pets, as they're going out and being trained after they're tamed, get 5% more experience cumulative for each one of these bonuses that you get. So all these achievements or trophies or bonuses are added in with this new patch. And that's the big thing with the journal. And that was the main thing I wanted to cover here. Now, the only other thing I was going to mention real quick is there are a couple of quests that have been added. Mainly, if you go to the breeder, right off the bat, you can get the quest to tame a goat. So you have to catch a goat, tame a goat, and then you have to summon the goat and walk around while you're gathering either apples or nettles and get him to steal at least one treat in order to do that quest. It's just a regular quest line quest, and it's not repeatable, but you just go and you get it from the breeder. Other quests that you'll find will be spawned by items in like godsends or dropped from monsters. Like there's a bowl of bones out there that you find in godsends or dropped by monsters that when you click on it, it'll say start quest. You can only have one item quest going at a time. In the Bowl of Bones starts a quest called Lazy Salad, where it has you gather some basic fruits and vegetables in the gathering phase, and then some clay, and at the end you hit complete quest, and you end up with 5 lazy salads, which have a small amount of like 4 of the satiaties. The only thing they don't give you is meat satiety, but then you get 5 of them. But that one's a repeatable quest, so every time you get the bowl of bones, it does consume the bowl of bones when you start the quest, so you can't just keep repeating it over and over again. But every time you get a bowl of bones, you can do the quest again and get another up to 5 of the lazy salads, they're called. Uh, Same thing, there's a tiny mushroom quest where you go and you gather the different types of mushrooms, and then at the end you hit the complete quest, and it creates a mushroom salad. Now, one of the advantages about these quests is that when you hit complete the quest, it does not actually use up the ingredients that you had gathered, because you can have put them away or whatever, and that's fine. It'll make the mushroom salad, it'll make the lazy salad, but you still have like the 10 boletus mushrooms, the 10 chanterelle mushrooms, that you gather, which is good because the boletus mushrooms like the rarest mushroom in the game. So it's not one you necessarily want to waste on a simple mushroom salad when you can use it later on to make forest chowder. And those are some of the quests that have been added into the game with the most recent patch. There are some others. There's a empty vial called I think it's called Unusual Vial that has 2 different functions. One, you can click on it and start a quest. And this one's great because you start the quest and then you can actually give it to a friend or a guildmate, and they can borrow it to start the quest and give it back to you. Now, you can only do the quest once, but each guild member can do it once, or each friend can do it once. As long as you don't use the other function of the vial, you could keep using it as a quest starter. So it's something you can share around. And that starts an essence quest where you have to catch 3 crows, tame them, and then convert them into essence, which is one of the new abilities with the update. Basically, essence is a way to convert tamed pets into experience that you can later on feed to your active pet. Uh, Basically, there's basic essence, which is worth 100 experience points, but is only good for pets of lower levels. And then you've got advanced essence, which is good for pets of a higher level. Let's see, let's go into the crafting menu and look at essence and give you the kind of the lowdown. See, you got uh, rare pet essence, which is good for pets of level 35 or higher. The basic, uh, essence and the uncommon essence that you get from just converting pets into essence are good for lower level pets. I've actually got some essence over here in my uh, one of my tabs here. Let's take a look, because I've actually done the 100 seagulls, so I've got like uncommon essence. It's good for 100 experience points for pets of level 25 or lower. We got okay, and then rare essence is worth 250 experience for pets of 35 or lower. And then you can combine to make legendary essences and stuff. What you do is when you do the crow quest, it gives you some of these empty vials. You can also go buy the vials from Ragnara, the junk dealer. Now they're kind of expensive. I think they end up coming up to like a silver a piece. And one of the things they don't tell you in the quest is once you've tamed the three crows and you need to turn them into essence, you actually have to make what's called alchemical essence. And if you take and you click on the empty vial and hit show recipes, which is something they did add, the new show recipes thing, which allow you to know what recipes anything in your inventory has. You can see here the alchemical essence has, a few things you have to get in order to actually create alchemical essence. And you need one alchemical essence for each pet that you're going to convert. And then you need also the alchemy devices workstation. So you basically have to be able to come up here and have the alchemy devices on a table like I've got right here. So you have to have those and do it here at this table when you're ready to do it. So you won't be able to complete the quest until you've gotten those things or have access to alchemical devices on a friend's DOM. But that's some of the things in the new patch. Essences, treats, and the new journal achievements and journal entries are the things that you'll find. There's a lot more happening. I expect that they're going to have some more stuff coming out soon from the developers. So keep your ears open now that they're active again. They've been patching and then, they patched these things in and then they came in and fixed some stuff that wasn't quite balanced. They're still working, of course, on things. And if you remember the old roadmap, now they're already delayed on the roadmap, so I wouldn't count on it. But the old roadmap did say in the fall, which we're now in, we would have possibly witchcraft, bartery, and a Halloween event. I'm not sure if they'll get to all of those. Hopefully, they'll at least do the Halloween event during Halloween because it is a holiday seasonal thing. But maybe we'll see something else too. So keep your eyes peeled. Be ready for it. It's exciting to see that the developers are back to doing stuff after their little bit of hiatus because, like I said, their main programmer was, I guess, sick, is what they were saying. Uh, we'll catch you back here with more. I know this is more just a lot of talking in this video, but I will try to do some other videos as more stuff gets revealed. It's just that there hasn't been a whole lot that I could do yet. I've been under the weather myself, but remember to do your daily quest to get a little bit of extra money. Check the auction houses. Oh, and the auction house now has a feature where you can relist things that have expired in the auction house. When you go to your stuff, if it's expired, you can actually go, it's like if it didn't sell, and you can hit again and it'll relist it at the same information. Or you can click on it, you can make changes over here, including it automatically defaults to the lowest time. So I always go back to the highest time, and you can relist things that you keep up on the auction house. That's one of the newer features as well. So, and they've added functionality for quality of life where you can, in your inventory, you can hold down the control key to move just one thing from a storage container to your inventory and vice versa, or hold down the shift key and move the whole stack from your inventory back into storage. Of course, just clicking on it in storage automatically moves it into your inventory. They also have made it to where if you'd fill up a partial stack, it will do that now. It'll fill up just the stack with the first click, and then the second click will create a new stack afterwards. Let's see. Collect on that one. That one's not sold, so let's do it again. While we're here. Anything else in the sold category? Yep. Sold another backpack while I'm here. And a old chicken. I sell old chickens because you can butcher them to increase your animal husbandry. And once they're past breeding age, that's the only thing they're good for. But once you level your animal husbandry past a certain point, you no longer get experience. So I figure I might as well sell them to everybody else. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I know I've droned on a little bit. It's been a lot of like a word dump, not a lot of real visual help, but you get to see the journal. You get to understand kind of how that works. And remember, all my videos are dedicated to Extra Life, part of the Children's Miracle Network, which helps kids with long-term hospitalized conditions like cerebral palsy, cancer, end-stage renal disease, and so everything I do is done for their sake. 50% of everything I make, rounded up off the top, whenever I get a payout, goes directly to Extra Life. So that includes, subscriptions here on Twitch. If I ever get to the point where I monetize on YouTube, also counts bits on Twitch. And you can also directly, if you go into my Twitch channel and the bot is up, he's not always up, but if he's up, you hit exclamation Extra Life, and it'll give you a link to my Extra Life campaign where you can donate directly to my Extra Life campaign for the kids in my local area. Thank you so much again. Remember to play more games. And in the immortal words of Stan Lee, Excelsior. May all your rolls be crits, or if they're fumbles, may they be epic in the retelling. And everybody have a great day.